Hello, I'm Ernie Zor, and welcome to Puritas Springs Software YouTube channel, where we highlight great time and money-saving computer tips, often tailored for law offices. This is number 79 in our FAQ series, and we're glad that you tuned in.
And I'm Larry Housel, and I'm joining Ernie today on this tour of Cuyahoga 5, our latest and greatest Cuyahoga County Probate Forms software application.
Well, the first thing you'll notice about Cuyahoga 5 is that it sports the new Puritas Springs software look with its ribbon that replaces the old menu system.
That's right, it replaces the tree view, which our users will probably remember along the left side of the screen. That's where the forms were, but now you can access them right from the drop-down.
Now, while Cuyahoga 5 may look a bit different from version 4, it should still look familiar. If you've ever used Microsoft products like Word, you'll feel right at home with the ribbon.
In fact, we've already installed this upgrade on the other software we've released this year, Ohio Adoption Forms, Franklin County Probate Forms. So going forward, this is what we'll be using.
Right. The big deal here is that we've pulled the all-important commands out of those hidden drop-downs, and we made them more accessible by making them readily available on the ribbon. No more hunting through menus.
Plus, the form list that used to be on the left side isn't there anymore, so we've got much more room to work on the actual form. We don't need that list since it's in the drop-down.
Yeah, that tree view, we used to call it.
Tree view, right.
Okay, well, hey, let's start with a quick walk through the ribbon itself before we dive into completing a few forms.
Sounds good, Ernie. First up, we'll look at the home ribbon. And this has got your usual stuff, like you mentioned, you're going to see in any office application. Open, save, print, things like that. Practically every program is going to have these commands.
Right, and there's a separate ribbon for each of the commands on the menu bar. You can always tell which one of the ribbons you're on, if you don't recognize it, for example, because the tab is in all caps, just like right now you see the word home is in all caps. Subtle but helpful.
Yeah, Ernie, and before we moved on, we should probably touch on the refresh item that's on there, plus the paging and override commands. We always get a lot of questions on that.
Okay. Now,
I said refresh. It says update.
Right. Update, refresh, same thing. And that is to do exactly that, refresh the page, just like in Windows Explorer when you click on the refresh button. It works the same. Paging, I get a question about this every once in a while, Larry. If we take a page, this is a bad example. Let's go to Form 1.0, which has a front and a back side. And the paging item, you see a button. These appear dynamically. So when we were looking at the General Information Worksheet, there were no paging buttons, and I'm stealing Larry's lines out of his script. But anyway, there is a button here now. It appeared here because there is no prior page, but there's a next page. So if I click on the next page, it takes me to page 2 of the form, I can go back.
Another visual cue, the button's kind of indicating that there's other pages to go through.
Correct.
And I assume the same is true for the override buttons. If you've got a field that's overrideable, then it's going to have the blue background, and the override button will appear. If not. And to the left of the Home tab is File, which works a lot like what you're used to in Word, like I mentioned. New, open, save, save as. You know the drill. Many are duplicated on the Home ribbon, so you can get to them both ways, commonly used.
What's unique about the File ribbon compared to the Home ribbon is the fact that the File ribbon has a super convenient drop-down list of your most recently opened files. And I just showed it to you there. And I use it all the time. And also, if you own version 4, the import command is here on the File ribbon, right there.
Because you're working with files.
Right.
All right. So to the right of the Home button is the Display tab. And this is what we were talking about earlier, that replaces the tree view along the left side in earlier versions. It took up a lot of screen space, so now we've gotten rid of it and added this drop-down area. People with smaller displays are really going to appreciate this, I think, especially if they're using a laptop or something like that.
Now, when you're working on a probate file, you'll appreciate that the display ribbon lets you jump to any of about 150 pages of probate forms, including the 4 worksheets, kin, asset, expense, and time.
We'll skip the options in the window ribbons. Options are great for troubleshooting or setting custom directories, but let's just keep it to the basics in this video. What do you think?
Sure. Okay. Am I repeating what you just said?
Yeah,
same for the Windows menu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But let's talk about the Help tab, because that is a
useful
that's resource.
One of my favorites.
And that's where you're going to find the manual there if we've still got it in PDF format. And then also in the Help ribbon is our new AI bot, which also has our manual in it. So
Are you ready for it? I'll click on the AI right now.
Yeah, why not? Bring it up.
Bingy.
So this is going to have our menu built into it, and it's also going to have some of the common rules of civil procedure related to probate in there. We pulled that. We pulled stuff from Title 21, some of the chapters specific to probate. And all that's loaded in along with chat's normal knowledge base. So when you ask it a question here, you're going to get hopefully very specific answers to Cuyahoga County and the courts.
Cool.
There.
All right, I'm going to bring us back down to the Cuyahoga program, and let's open up a sample file, which I already did actually. I created it earlier, and you'll see that to save time, the General Information Worksheet is already filled in.
That's right. Now, General Information Worksheet is almost on every Puritas app, right? Because that's where you're going to put the most common information that's going to populate throughout all the forms that you're working on.
And next, you'll always want to go to the Kin Worksheet. Although you can skip it, I usually recommend not skipping it. The names that you enter here get pulled into the other worksheets, like the Asset Worksheet. So if you tackle the Asset Worksheet first, it's going to be missing all the beneficiary information that you would have already entered into the Kin Worksheet. And I'm going to...
Let's show them what that looks like.
Yeah, right. Let's go to the Kin Worksheet. You see there's... Joanne, Mary Lou, and Judith, they're all in the worksheet. And now when I go to the Asset Worksheet, in the distributees, like let's say Ocean Drive here, we want to put a beneficiary in there. So, or a distributee, I click on the distributee select button, and hey, lo and behold, who's there?
Look at that.
The three gals from the Kin Worksheet.
Very nice. And so that sends them to the distributees the same as you can send it to any worksheet, really.
Right. For certain forms, like, I don't know about distribution in kind, but yeah, certain forms there's named distributees, and that's where this list would end up populating those types of fields on those forms.
And if you don't want to include them, then you just don't check them, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So is there anything else that might be helpful that they would want to know?
Well, here's something that you might find helpful. If you don't know what form number refers to, if you don't... Wait a minute. How did I want to say that?
Like which one it's going to? Like which form it actually is?
Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. If you didn't know what
it says send to, but you don't know what 3.0 is, right?
Right, exactly. And well, how do you do that? You right click on it, I think. Yeah. See, now there's the complete name of the form. So some of these there just is not enough room to have a lengthy name in there. So if it comes in and you're not sure 5.10, well, there it is. There's the complete name of it.
And don't forget about the tab function. We've incorporated that and tested the tab feature so that you can just tab in between fields. Makes it a lot faster than pulling up that mouse and clicking on them.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't know. What are we ready to go to the Asset Worksheet?
There's always one blank record at the top of the worksheets, right?
There is, yes.
Okay. So you can just fill that in. You don't have to delete that.
Right.
All right. And these tips go across all the different worksheets. We already looked at Kin. Let's go back to the Asset Worksheet.
Right. We're on the Asset Worksheet.
Oh, you're already in there.
Yes.
Okay, great.
What do we want? Okay, you know what? I got to tell you one thing about the asset worksheet, even if it's not in our outline or our script or whatever. The most common error that users make is they usually get the send to. Okay, I'll click over here and I could send it here to 3, 4, 5, 6. I could send it anywhere. Great. Okay, I understand. That's great. And then what happens is they get an error message when they're leaving the worksheet, and it'll say, hey, you didn't categorize it. And sometimes they don't really know what that means. And here I'm going to show you right now is that, okay, look at this. You've got how many things you got there? 4, 5, 24. You probably have 40 different forms that this could be sent to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, out of those 40 forms, these 12 need something more than just a checkbox. It needs to be told, like, okay, let's take here, let's take this inventory, 6.0, 6.1. What it's got is all the different classifications of property for an inventory. And it's different for each form. So, but the beauty of it is you don't have to memorize anything because
it's all right there.
Yeah, it's all right here because it would be too easy for the court or the government to have made a consistent categorization across all forms. So what you'll find is 6.0 is real property, intangible, tangible. But if you went to the final accounting over here, you would see that none of those categories are here. It's personal property not sold, proceeds of sale from personal property. None of these categories are the same as what they are on any of the other forms. So that's why this is handy. But that's what people forget most is they'll send something to a particular form, but they will not categorize it. And again, you don't have to categorize everything, but for those 12 forms, you got to categorize everything that goes on those 12. All right, now
and it might not be the same category across all 12 forms.
Right,
and that, which you brought up, which is an important feature.
I think I took us way off the subject.
Well, no, you always say the most important is category.
Yeah, right.
So now we covered that. So
okay.
I think it's good. So before we move on, though, let's hit the personal ID set button because we want to stay in compliance.
Okay, down here,
civil procedure.
Sure, there it is. That's the dialogue. It's not filled out, but years ago it really didn't make any difference. But once this identity theft became a big deal, scurrilous people would go to the probate court. They'd go into the public records, and they'd get account numbers, sometimes social security numbers, all kinds of things. So we have rule, I don't know, maybe it's been around for 10 or even more years than that, but that rule says keep that stuff like social security numbers, names and dates and date of births of minors, keep that stuff out. And where you put it is the court still needs to know it. You just don't want to make it part of the public record. And the way you do that is the way Larry said. You go to this personal ID, you click on that set button, and here it is. And now you would put in a complete identification, Cleveland Trust savings account or whatever it is. Let me see if I've got one where it's already filled out. No, it doesn't. Wait, you know what? It doesn't look like it. Okay, in the sample file here, we don't have it filled out, but that's it's not too hard. The filing date of when you're filing the paper, and the form number that you're going to refer to. Maybe it's the inventory 6.0, and then you have a complete identification here, and then the abbreviation that you're using in the actual papers.
And that information then won't be included in the public record. It's going to be included in a separate data set that's just for the court.
The only thing that's going to show up, I believe, is what you have written down there is the abbreviation.
Yeah, so that you don't need to put that info. You shouldn't be putting that info in the description box. You're going to want to use this confidential information.
Correct. Yep.
All right, sounds good. Man, I'm still caught up on scurrilous. That's a really good description of somebody that would go down to the probate court.
I don't know where I pulled that out of, but but while we're on the description, the subject of the description box, let me point out that it is, and this is a handy thing, it is it's easy for me to say, it's capable of copying and pasting. And that's very handy in some instances, and I'll give you an example of one. I had a law office that called me up, and they said, "Hey, you know what? We're a part-time title what do you call it? Title research, whatever, title insurance company." And they said every time we do a probate estate with the real estate, the bank sends us the legal description as a Word doc file. And we're retyping it in there in the description box. And I said, no. You don't have to do that. You can just drag over it in Word, copy, go into here, hit the paste. You know, I, just to be funny. There we go. I did that. I just hit paste right now just to see whatever was in the hopper. Apparently it has something to do with dog bite law. I don't know when I was researching that.
Well,
but
you gotta
anyway,
be careful.
Yeah.
Don't let your dog bite people more than once.
So anyway, get that back out of there. But and so that's the way it works, and so you don't have to do a lot of.
I think it's just a reminder.
Retyping.
Yeah, the software works like all the software you would expect to work. Tabbing through the fields, cutting and pasting from other applications. Don't forget about that stuff. I think is the main thing, right?
Right, and I have had people ask me, well, how do you do it? When I right-click, there's nothing there. Yeah, unfortunately, there isn't anything there because this cutting and pasting and copying works on whole rows at a time.
You're saying use the keyboard.
The Windows clipboard, right, and so you are going to, exactly what you said, Larry, you're going to use the keyboard, so you're going to use Control-C and Control-V, which are the standard copy and paste commands for word processors. Or if you're into the other set of alternative keys, Control Insert and Shift Insert.
I do that all the time. If I run into a field and I right click and there's no paste, the first thing I do is hit Control V and see if I can do it with the keyboard.
Right. Yep.
All right. I feel like I should mention miscellaneous items, Ernie.
Okay. You did there by just saying
My
it
job
like that.
is
Is that
done.
it? All right. I like the way you did that. So where does that put us then? What,
I think we're going to go to the expense worksheet next.
There we are.
Again, if you're confused on what you're looking at on these to the right, the send tos, you can right click on them.
Yes, you can.
And what about the time worksheet?
Well, you know,
skip that, right?
Well, we can.
It's the same thing.
Real quick. Yeah, it's the same thing. Don't have all those boxes to send it to. Yeah, much simpler. Much simpler. It's just these three fields, really.
And you're filling it out as you go? All right.
Yeah, usually, right. Some offices, they might jot down on scraps of paper and put them all in a shoebox, and then somebody, unlucky person in the office on Fridays has to go through the shoebox and type them all in or something like that as a kind of a bookkeeping thing. But
the shoebox approach is tried and true.
Yeah,
the longer it's been around, the longer it will be.
Yeah. The bigger your feet, the more work you can get done.
Oh, that's a really good point.
I know.
Watch out for size 12 lawyers.
I just thought of that.
Anyway, let's talk about the colors. We already talked about it earlier. Do we want to just touch on it again with the whether something can be overridden, whether something is coming from the General Information Worksheet and can't be overridden, and what it requires?
Okay, let's try. I'm going to go back to Form 2.0, and we have some examples here. These amber or yellowish colored fields, I don't know if that's amber, whatever. Those... what those fields are they are read-only. That's the word I was looking for, or the two words I was looking for. And that means that the program is getting that information from somewhere else.
And you would have no reason to change it.
Right. And that somewhere else is always or is usually, I should say, the General Information Worksheet. And if it isn't that, it's one of the four asset, next to kin, or expense worksheets. It's always going to be one of those.
I should clarify, if you're going to change anything, you're going to go back to those worksheets and do it there.
Right, because you can click till you're blue in the face here on Lakewood, and they ain't not
And the
going to let
reason-
you change.
The reason we do that, just for clarity, is if you're making a change to something like that and it's used in many other places within the forms, you don't want to have to go to each one of those and make the change.
That makes perfect sense. That's exactly why it's like that. Yes.
And so, but there are some situations where whatever you're pulling from the worksheet might need to be tweaked, and we've learned that through time and experience, and so, or just common sense.
Well, the other thing we didn't mention, or we should mention, in addition to the amber colored, is the light blue ones, and what these are. Well, I have a better idea. Let me show you this one first. We showed you the amber. Let's talk about the white ones. White is, you type, you're good to go. There's no restrictions on what you're typing, I hope.
There's mayhem.
There, you can type whatever you want in there, and that's what the white field is all about. And then the final color is blue. And the reason I wanted to do white first is because blue is actually a combination of the amber and the white. It's like the amber because it derives its information from somewhere else. Okay, well, hey, anyway, before we wrap up,
We should we talked about the help button already, right? We went through the manual and the probate assistant.
oh, we did show it already, did we? Yeah, you know
Yeah.
what? It's been so confusing. I'm losing track of where we're at.
Yeah, but we could just touch on and print the demo, or do a demo of the printing real quick to show
Okay.
people how that works.
Sure.
Because print shop perfect is the
And the-
slogan we like to use for it.
Okay, I like it. Let's take. What form should we print?
Oh, 2.0 is a good one.
All right. Yeah, it's already checked. Print. Boop. There it is.
Well, look at that.
Hey, does that look pretty good or what? I mean, come on.
And it's in a
Look at
Word
that.
document, so you can change it if you need to, which is our, another one of our big tips, right? You get it to here, and you're like, oh, wait, I want that to say something else.
Well,
it's a Word doc.
You know what? Some law office comes in and files a form that looks like this. If I was the clerk of courts, I'd be building like a little shrine and burning incense and saying, we are not worthy. Those forms are too good for us.
And that's what we want to do, is please the clerk of court.
That's right, for
and
sure.
That's what
So
a lot of this is all about.
You can't argue with something like that. Okay, should I put this away? Are we done with that
I
now?
think we're done with that.
Okay.
I think we just want to touch on our final request, which is to have people like and subscribe to our.
Are we at that point already?
Yeah, I'm
wow.
pretty sure.
All right. And yeah, right. And if you've got questions, well, like Larry said, though, like and subscribe. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how important it was for the first couple of years, actually. But what was I going to say? I was going to say that if you've got any questions or suggestions, or you just want to say hi, drop a comment below.
Yeah, we'll be waiting to hear from you, and appreciate any of the likes and subscriptions you can give us. And thanks for trusting us with your legal needs here at Puritas.
Sure. Until next time, be well, be organized, and keep those probate forms print shop perfect. Stay happy, healthy, and safe.
Bye now.
Bye.